Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you for our today's recording. And today I want to talk about an amazing subject, and this has to do with courage, courageous leadership, and I believe this we need in our day to day leadership. And if this can form part and parcel of our traits and our characteristics as leaders, I believe indeed it can really add impetus to our way of providing leadership, and this can help us and facilitate that efficiency and effectiveness that is required. Now there is an information that is powered by Newtonics, and they talk about four pillars of courage. And the first pillar they talk about is vulnerability. Then the second pillar is clarity of values. And then the third pillar is trust. And the fourth one, rising skills. And so they says further that this can be taught as the four pillars that they have highlighted: the vulnerability, clarity of values, and trust and rising skills, that this can be taught or developed, learned, and even measured. So there are things that we need to be intentional, and they can be part and parcel, or rather these things that they are saying they form courageous leadership can be part and parcel of us as leaders. And they go further and says that learning requires commitment. Remember, they say that these things that composed of that constitute courageous leadership, they can be taught, developed, learned, and measured. And so they says learning requires commitment. And this I agree in totality with them, and curiosity and willingness to challenge ourselves both personally and professionally. It requires operationalizing courage into actual behaviors, because you can have the information, you can have it in your head, you can really be knowledgeable, but if you cannot translate it to actuality, if you cannot translate it to reality, if it cannot form your behaviors, and it cannot form the way you do things, then that becomes exercise of futility, or is only limited to head knowledge, and that is not wisdom. And so that is not even the purpose of learning. The purpose of learning is that you acquire the knowledge and you are able to translate this knowledge into daily life, and that can add value into your life and into the kind of leadership that you are offering. So that is a very good information. I wanted us to begin from there. And then I also came across John Maxwell. John Maxwell, he says that people follow courage and not necessarily position. So this means he is esteeming, he is giving high premium to the thing we are talking about, which is courage. He's giving a lot of premium to it, and he says, when people are following leaders, sometimes they're not just following leaders because they are in given positions, but they are following them because of the courage they have. And so you have courage, or people can see that courage clearly in you by the kind of the action you take. The kind of the action you take can make people to clearly see that this is a person of courage, or this is a person of timidity. But then I will want to say from the offset as well, and this is a caution, that we are looking at courage in the context of positive energies, because we also have courage that would release negative energies, and I don't think that is necessary and is going to help us. And my focus is not on the kind of courage that releases negative energies, but the kind of the courage that releases positive energies that can add value to ourselves, to our society, to the followers, the people we are leading, and even to us ourselves, and even the organizations that we are representing and working for, because this has to be seen, and this is what will propel and changes and make growth to take place. And so I want us to clearly focus and to zoom to positive energies where courage leadership is concerned. And so that's why sometimes, not even sometimes, that's why when we celebrate corruption, then corruption, bad leadership, things such as terrorism, things such as nepotism, xenophobia, racism, which are completely evil things and not good things, we are not serving the purpose of courage. Rather, we are really diluting it, and we are not making the best out of it. And so such a things that are very negative in our society that I've mentioned, these are weakness in character, and they do not add value to ourselves. So if we have somebody who is courageous and is emanating and releasing such negative things and such a negative energy that promotes such a kind of bad things I've mentioned, then that is not the kind of leaders we want. Those are kind of the things that we really need to discourage and condemn with the strongest term possible. And so courage is very important, and courage is very crucial to us as leaders, and even to the kind of the leaders we are raising and mentoring. And so we need to look, especially as leaders, we need to think of exhibiting character in a very explicit manner. Yes, even if it is not explicit, but at least we need to exhibit it. And that's why there are times you need to resist certain things that are not right, that are not good. And for that to happen, you need courage as a leader. And there are times you need to admit mistakes and know and say, you know what, here I've lost it. I've missed the mark, and so I admit and then find a way or a solution. And so that is courage as well. And also confronting powers is really for somebody to come up and confront powers, especially when they are on the wrong and when they are not doing the right thing, when they are abusing the kind of the power, the kind of the sovereignty that has been donated to them, the kind of the responsibility that has been denoted to them to serve on the behalf of the people, then really times we need courage to confront such kind of things. And sometimes we just need courage to point out mischievous things and mischievous character that is not beneficial in our organizations, that is not beneficial in our country, that is not beneficial in whatever places, in whatever context that you find yourself in as a leader. And so even in our today's society, as a leader, there are times you will need to fight against certain things such as partyism. You know, we have countries that really do not advocate for democracy. Rather, they advocate for sort of monarchy, where it is only them. They do not want to give space for other people to come in and provide leadership, and feel people can freely make their choice, their opinion. Rather, people have been confined and they are coerced to behave and to make certain choices that other people want them to make. So, and that's why sometimes, for example, you may find a country has good leaders, and then at times as another leadership comes in place, and this leadership at times is not keen in terms of promoting democracy and taking it to higher levels. Instead, they want to serve their own selfish interest by killing democracy, by so killing parties and trying just to encourage one party, or just things that they know they're going to promote democracy. So this requires courage to confront such a things and to stand against them. And we've also seen politicians who gives quite a number of promises as leaders in the society in our various countries we come from, and sometimes they give these kind of promises because they want to excite the voters so that they can vote for them. But once they get into the offices, you realize that there is nothing they're achieving. They're not fulfilling their promises. So we need courage to address such kind of things. And also, when states are turning again, they are turning into anarchy, we need courage to confront and to address such a matter. And at time it is going to cost you even your lives. If as a leader, it's going to cost to cost your resources. It's going to really cost you. It's not an easy thing. And so as leaders, we have to think about courage, and we have to see how to implement it so that we can benefit out of it. At times, we've seen even leaders who appreciate a kind of excessive sycophancy that goes beyond board from their followers. And this at times needs courage just to address them and to tell them, you know what, this is not right. And so courage is needed, especially if you intend to correct such kind of things and you want to stand for what is right. And at times, you may find yourself in a context where you need to challenge the kleptocrats. We have the kleptocrats, and then we also have the bourgeoisies. These are people at times you need to challenge them, because the kleptos, these are people who are there, and because they are there and they have amassed and they're amassing their wealth using very orthodox means, such as bribery and other evil way of amassing wealth to them. At times you need to challenge them and even expose them. With the bourgeoisies, people who want to carry shots in the society because they have the wealth. Yeah, we need also to stand for proletarians. These are the kind of a category of people. When you read the theory of Karl Marxism, he talks about this kind of people where especially the kleptocrats and the bourgeoisies takes advantage of them, so that they use them so that to enrich themselves. And that's why such a people were against the capitalism, because they felt it was not good. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, but what I'm saying, we need leaders with courage who are going to speak for this kind of people, who are going to say we don't need to take advantage for these people. We need to find a way of growing them, improving their lives so that they can have a significant kind of life on this earth. Yeah, you see? We need courageous leaders who will stand against unfairness and against injustices in our societies. And courage, or rather courageous actions and behavior has cost to pay, as I have earlier on indicated. It is not just something you will wake up and say, you know what, I want I'm courageous, I want to do this, I want to do this. But it is not easy, because there are times you're going to challenge powers, and challenging powers, they will not take it lying down. They will also challenge you. But we have seen people who are willing to die for a cost, to die for something, rather than dying for no cost, for no reason. So we have to think about this, and we have to know, even as we want to do it, even as we want to live that kind of a courageous lifestyle of leaders, then there's cost that we will have to pay at some point, you know. Mm. And that's why, for example, I remember even like in Kenya, uh, when you read the history, you remember there are time where there was single partyism, and there are people who stood against it, and they really fought hard using all their energies and their resources, and it was not easy for them, but they kept on consistently doing it until that section was removed and multipartyism was appreciated. And so that helped to propel the country and to give space for people to exercise their opinion politically, and to make their choices and decisions they felt or they feel is good. And so such a kind of space, we need to jealously guard it, so that someone does not come from nowhere to come and spoil and pollute this kind of environment. We will not be making progress, but we will be retrogressing. When we may think we are making 20 steps ahead, but just to realize we have made 30 steps behind. And so that is something that needs courage to stand against and to say this is not possible, especially in our modern world. And so we need to see courage emanating from us, from you as leader within your own capacity. Let us see courage coming out of you. We have people who are in the civil society. Let us see them coming and standing with courage to speak for what is right in the society. We have advocacy groups that advocates for various things. We need to see them getting the space and doing it in a firm and in a courageous manner. And we have religious leaders, so let us see them stand with courage. We need to have religious leaders who are not bought. We need to have religious leaders who are not put in the pocket by the kleptocrats and the bourgeoisies and the politicians. We need religious leaders who stands for what is right. Religious leader who stand for the preposition of the scripture, the canonical scripture of what they preach, and they stand for it, and they declare and say this is the right thing to do, especially in the context of moral ethics and spirituality. So we need courage from religious leaders so that they are not moved, manipulated. If that happens, then the society will be really in a bad position. We need also courage from the masses. Most of the countries, they appreciate democracy, and this implies that the masses has a lot to do. They only donate opportunity for the leaders they elect or appoint so that they can serve on their behalf. And if this is the case, then the masses need to know that indeed they have a lot to give, and so they need to be courageous enough to do what is right, and nobody should intimidate them. And even when they intimidate them, they need to stand for what is right. Think of institutional bodies that are mandated and given power even by the constitution of various countries. These bodies need to be empowered, and they need to stand firm, and they need to be courageous and do what is right, and go for what is right without wavering, without blinking an eye. This will change our environment, and this will help to make a lot of impetus and to transform our communities as leaders. So I pray that we can adapt this, and I pray that we can really come out as courageous leaders, and especially in the kind of leaders that emanates positive energies as compared to negative energies. And Africa and the world will be a changed space where everyone feel that they can indeed be heard and do something significant in their life. So the King bless you, and stand tall. And if you are a leader, be courageous and do what is right.